Just had a little downtime. Figured I might just play around with some old images or whatever. So, anyways, I pulled out this shot of my homegirl Centoya. I'm gonna just go through, edit it real basic. Don't need a whole lot because she ain't got like a ton of, I mean, she really ain't got like no acne and stuff like that. So, I'm just gonna pop out these reds, maybe pop out the blue in the cans a little bit, maybe give a little bit better crop because if you look at the full image, clearly you can see the top of the backdrop and stuff like that. I might extend the backdrop some just so you can see how to do that. In case you need to do that with some of your other images. But it's gonna be a real basic, quick little tutorial. If you got any questions, definitely feel free to hit me. I'm probably still gonna kind of go through, like see like any little blemishes, little if there's any type of pimple areas, small stuff. Like I don't really think there's a whole lot to be done for real. Maybe catch the lines of the neck, catch these little tiny bumps that are around the forehead, stuff like that. But yeah, it's actually somewhat of a clean image already. So, anyways, first thing I'm gonna duplicate my layer right over there. I'm gonna always start with my spy healing brush tool. Zoom in. Let's go ahead and start tapping some of this stuff that's on her skin. As you can see, it's kind of disappearing as we're tapping it. It's just super easy. You know, anybody could do this. Again, like there's a million ways to do all of this type of stuff. This is just my method. This is what I do when I edit my photos. Everybody's process is different. So I'm killing these lines around the neck. Makes it a little bit easier, once you if you decide that you do want to use frequency separation or just anything like that. Clearly, you don't want to take away like the tattoo and stuff like that. So, leave all that for sure. Let's come up here. We'll hit these bumps, small bumps anyway. So, I mean, honestly, it's really not even that serious. Not a big deal. But for the sake of the video, that actually might have been a small mole, but I'm gonna take it off anyway. All right, so yep, just rock with me. I'm trying to do like a real time video with y'all. Like I never looked at this. I don't want to say I hadn't looked at the image before, but I've never edited the image before. I literally just kind of pulled up my hard drive and was going through some stuff, and I was just like, you know what? Let me find something that I can play with real quick, just since I had a little bit of downtime for the moment. Uh, oh yeah, and no kids yelling in the background, which is which is nice too. Cause I think on that last video, my daughter was definitely trying to hop on the camera, even though she didn't realize that she wasn't gonna be seen. Cause this is more so just a tutorial, but you know how kids are. Anyways, girl dad over here to the fullest. Uh, Again, it's not gonna be like perfect, and I ain't trying to make it perfect, especially for this tutorial, because I think sometimes when I be watching tutorials and stuff, what I realize is like you might be able to follow the person from the jump, and then all of a sudden they just start doing all this extra stuff and just gets super confusing, and then all of a sudden you was like, cool, I think I got it, I think I got it, and next thing you know, they done did something to the image that done completely threw you off, and now all of a sudden you can't keep up. So around this part of the face is actually a little heavy on, like, I would say a combination of lighting and maybe a combination of oils or anything. Because sometimes, like when you're working with your clients, you gotta be careful and be mindful because a lot of the time, say if you put certain lotions on your face or um, any type of body oils, it might look good, to the natural eye, but then sometimes it pops out heavy when them lights hit it. And I try to explain that to people all the time because, you know, like I said, to the natural naked eye or whatever, yeah, it looks amazing. But then when you get it on camera, you realize like, dang, I'm looking a little blotchy or something, and clearly that ain't what you want. So, um, I'm still not doing like no tutorials on no frequency separation because I'm not there yet. But as I'm learning, y'all can learn with me. I would suggest maybe going on YouTube, finding some people that that you can follow easily on frequency separation. It can definitely be a little bit confusing, but if you can find somebody, and eventually I will probably do some videos on it as I learn a bit more, maybe an easier technique that I can have people follow. Because the last thing I want to do is have anybody confused. So once again, what I'm doing right now is what's called the spot healing brush tool right here, and this icon. I'm pretty much using this to take off any small blemishes. She doesn't have much going on, but even if you go before and after, you can see the difference. Before, after, before, after. And to be real, like depending on your client, you know, you could really just clean up the little blemishes with the spot healing tool, and they be hyped because there are some people that do have, uh, you know, I would say, I don't want to say bad skin, but I mean, everybody's different. Some people might have, whiteheads or whatever, whatever going on, or certain, say a mole or a scar or something that they just, really can't stand. And that, they might feel beautiful, but they got this, huge scar on their face, or say, like for maternity photos, how a lot of the pregnant women have the line in the middle of the stomach. I know I've been asked, if there's ways to remove, the line, because sometimes it's a little heavier than they prefer, and you would still use the same tool for something like that. Now there's other ways to clear up too. You got like your clone stamp tool and stuff, but as far as for this video, I'm trying not to go like super deep to the point that it's getting people confused, because I want people to be able to follow, and I want people to be able to hit me up, if you're having questions, because me just sitting here and trying to get super fancy with the edits and stuff, it kind of defeats the purpose if you can't keep up. What I'm trying to do is techniques and certain things that almost anybody using any version of Photoshop can figure out. So, like, even say this little scar right here, the spot healing brush is good for something like that. We could take that off. Now, you can't tell it was ever there. This little scratch right here, cool. Use the spot healing brush, take it off. This little scar, this little area right here. Now, you can adjust your brush, hitting that right click um, and adjusting it, make it huge, make it tiny. Depends on, what you're messing with. I've been using the brackets on my keyboard. It actually a little shortcut. The you got the left and right bracket, can kind of increase it or decrease it. It just makes it a little bit easier, a little bit quicker for me as I'm editing. I don't click something different. Hold on. Yeah, so you want to hit like this little area right here. Like I said, probably could have done without it, but if you wanting to, try to get um, your edits as seamless as possible, you kind of got to pay attention to all that. So, but you don't want to cause discoloration either. So, hit that, slide over here, see if there's anything on the stomach that's really popping out. Not really. I'm good on this stuff over here. This is nothing. Some of these, we'll clear that one up. We are good. And she's rocking jeans, so that kind of actually helps. Actually takes away a lot of the work for real. Because, sometimes there's a lot to clean up on the legs too. Just on really on anybody's. So yeah, I'm clicking through this pretty quick, but move at your own pace. It don't have to be anything super fast. If it takes you 2 hours, cool. It's taking me a lot longer by trying to talk too. Now, what I wouldn't do, I wouldn't clear up this shadow piece right here, and I wouldn't clear up this shadow, just because that gives it that's how it's supposed to look. You know what I mean? So you don't want to clear up anything that's gonna make a photo look unnatural. You always want it to look natural. We're gonna leave the shadows on the stomach. Like, could I clear it up? Of course I could clear it up. Same way, and I could blend it in, and we could take the clone stamp tool and you know do this and start painting and all that type of stuff and make it look natural. But we're not doing all that, because that's just not how I want my image to look. So at this moment, I'm cool with her skin. Again, we'll go before, and I'll zoom in so you can actually see the face and stuff that changes. So this is before, it's after, before, after. You hit this little line right here. I like to try to leave some of the lines around the eyes and stuff just to kind of keep that natural look. Cause then if you take too much away, it kind of look like a little weird in my opinion. So before, after, and gives us a little room to play with. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix the crop. I don't want this on the backdrop, so I'm gonna probably take it to about right here. All right, so what I normally do is I'll make the image full screen like that, and I'll kind of see how I like it to be cropped based on that. I'll zoom in, like, okay, cool. Do I want to keep it super tight like this? Like, cause sometimes I like that type of look too. So it's like, yeah, it is cutting off the head, but it's still giving you a little bit of the action down here with the tattoos hitting, and you still get like a nice visual. There's no distractions going on. But if you do want to keep it full body like that, that's cool too. You kind of get the effect of the phone because clearly, if you zoom it in, you're not getting the full phone effect. So even if we kept it like right here, honestly, I'm cool with that, and I might even go with that for real. So yeah, so it's cutting off some of it, but I like that, and that way, it's the eyes. You're capturing the eyes. You're not losing. You're still capturing the slit down here, the design and the jeans, which she actually did herself. You're still getting a little bit of everything, but you're not getting it all. So I would actually adjust my crop to this right here. Let's see, where was we at? Is this what it was? Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much where I want it to be. So we're gonna rock with that. Uh, what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna actually open up my filters. I'm gonna go to Camera Raw filter, and again, like I was saying, I'm gonna increase the red. I want that to pop, saturate a little bit more. I'm gonna increase my vibrance too. I've always been one to I like my colors to pop a little bit. Even if you notice on some of my edits, you'll notice that a lot of the times my colors are brighter. I'm gonna go to my blue over here in the color mixer. So what you can do, desaturate it just so you can see the difference. So what my main focus, I'm wanting to bring out the color in them cans. I know that that's blue, so I'm gonna click the blue over here. You see, so it's affecting the jeans, but it's affecting the cans as well. If you wanted to brighten those cans up, you can hit that luminance over there, or you can darken them. Same thing, it's gonna hit the jeans too. So brighten them just a little bit and increase that saturation. Again, I want to increase the red, so I click the red and my color mixer on adjust. I don't really want to illuminate it because then it's gonna change the whole color of her skin tone, the outfit, everything, and it's just gonna look ugly. I do want to saturate it just a little bit. Now, for whatever reason, if it saturated her face too much, then we can make those adjustments by going over here um, and creating a mask and kind of masking it out and stuff like that. But I'm good on that. I'm not really worried about it. But let's just say, for her sake, that her face was too dark, and everything else was perfectly lit, but her face was too dark. You'll go to this icon. You can either select people if you have the newest version of Lightroom or Photoshop and all of that. Select that. You can go to face scan and create, expose it, however you want. Clearly that doesn't look good, but I mean, it's up to you to figure out, how you need to make your adjustments, stuff like that. You know, you got a lot of room to play with. Whatever you want to do. I'm not gonna keep any of that, so I'm just gonna go over here to delete it and delete all masks because I don't need it. If anything, I would just use my brush to be real, and then I would increase the shadows because that's normally what I like to do rather than the exposure. Uh, Hit that cheek a little bit, maybe around that neck some, giving like a little brightness to those areas. But I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I want to go back here. We'll go to, where is it at on here? Hold on, rock with me for just a second, y'all. Uh, where we at? Where we at? Okay, detail. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I always like to sharpen my images just a little bit. Kind of just makes it pop in my opinion. But I also do like to hit it with the noise reduction. Bring the details down some, creates a little bit more smoothness. And then I might have to increase that sharpening a little bit. I'm gonna reduce the radius just some. Now, the more detail, the more sharpened it's gonna get. Keeping in mind that it might make your photo look a little weird if you go too much. So that's why I always kind of balance it with the noise reductions. Keeping in mind that there's a bunch of colors going on, I'm gonna increase my color noise reduction as well. Um, so that's my personal method. You can do what you want, but that's kind of how I like to always do mine. I'm gonna hit that contrast a bit. I like my stuff a little bit more contrasted. See how that darken it up, bring the shadows up just a little. Y'all see, so it's kind of making it a little dramatic if we go low. I actually kind of like that, but we're gonna keep them up a little bit. So, all right. So I actually like this image as is for real, especially now. As you can see, we still got the sharpening of the skin. It's looking really good. And to be real, this could be a finished image, for a lot of people. I mean, and even if I was just using like my Lightroom and stuff like that, this would be a finished image for me too. So this was what it looked like before. This is what we looking like just with basic photo adjustments. The only thing that we've done at this point was literally use the spot healing brush to clean up any of the blemishes and stuff on the skin, and we just added some filters, like, or not even really some filters, but you adjusted the filter settings. Me personally, I have never used filters or anything like that. That's not my style. I like to create my own, and you do that by coming to filter, going to your camera raw filter, and you create your own. You can save those settings if you like it, and if it's like, say, you had to do 20 images like this, and you were like, man, I don't want to have to go back in there and repeat it every single time. You can actually save that preset, and then you can just kind of drop it on each time, and that way it'll duplicate that contrast you created, that noise reduction, that sharpening, all that type of stuff, and it kind of just makes life a bit easier. And honestly, that's why I like Lightroom, because it's a lot quicker. So if I'm not going into heavy editing and all that type stuff, then that's the route that I'm normally going to use. All right, cool. So like I said, find you somebody that can give you a good breakdown on what frequency separation is, because that's what I'm going to do next. I'm still kind of in between on who's I like better than the next, on the method, on the settings. I know the one that I've been using recently, they kind of use the dust and scratches method, whereas some others, they'll use the Gaussian blur tool and method that way. So it's a preference. But anyway, I'm gonna use my 8-bit frequency separation to match it up with this. Uh, I'm not gonna go into detail. I'm just gonna go ahead and um, just kind of go straight into it, to be real. So I'll crease that just a bit. I know it looks real funky, but it's kind of just how it's supposed to be. So I probably will lose you at this point if you're not already familiar with this, and that's cool too. That just gives us something to chop it up about, if you got some questions. And like I said, this method right here, I'm actually still learning myself. So, you know, um, yeah, you can rock with me as I go through it. Basically, what I'm doing is just kind of blending the skin, um, and that way, kind of some of them spots that was showing like kind of blotchy a little bit. The whole reason for doing this is to pretty much cancel all of that stuff out, because you want to blend your darks, your lights, just all of those, just all of that type of stuff. And this is where it definitely gets a bit time consuming, in my opinion. But this is actually kind of what kind of takes it to the next level as well. So, like I said, it's definitely time consuming. You kind of have to have strategy as to what you're doing. You can't just be marking all over the face, because, say, like this area I'm in is a little bit darker, as you can see. So I'm trying to blend a dark spot in, because you don't want to see any of those lines. Sometimes, like right here in this area, you can tell that there's a line between this dark area and this light area. What I'm doing is trying to blend that so that that's not um, so that it just blends. Like I said, it's a little difficult for me to fully explain it just because I'm still kind of going through the process. And honestly, like I really enjoy doing these tutorials. The fact that I haven't mastered this technique, because I can I can just be straight up with y'all. Like, all right, cool, I'm learning. So if it doesn't come out looking exactly how I envision, I'm okay with that because I'm learning. Now, eventually, like I'll get it all the way down packed, and you'll notice in my images, you'll be like, ooh, that's fire right there. Rob's definitely doing something a little bit different. But that's another thing too. Like as you get some downtime, I don't care if it's an hour or whatever. Shoot, take advantage of that time, man. Especially if like you don't have any plans. Like right now, like I'm chilling for like a couple hours. So I figured, okay, I want to play with some images, but shoot, why not do a tutorial? Because I'm sure there's probably somebody else that's probably trying to figure this out too, or it might just be the spy healing brush that might have helped somebody along. You might have been like, dang, I never knew it. I never knew that was. So if you look at the skin, you could tell it's a little bit more smooth. Now, there's areas like this I got to continue going over because it doesn't look that good, and a lot of that sometimes is when you're not blending the areas right, the way that you should, because you got to kind of go in the direction of the skin. So, as you're noticing, it's subtle changes, so it's like this is when it gets time consuming, because if you look as I'm going up kind of towards the hair and stuff like that, and this shadows over here, you can see I kind of jacked up around the eyes. So I would clean that up, and you just want to just keep blending, because it will eventually kind of all come together. But this is, like I said, this is where it gets really time consuming. I don't know that y'all want to sit here and watch me do this for 30 minutes, but this is just an area of my particular editing that I'm trying to work on and get better at. And it's actually pretty fascinating to me. You know, it's like I was at the dentist the other day and I was asking this lady, because I was just like, do you really enjoy what you do? Because I like sometimes it kind of seems like this would be kind of nasty, kind of gross, you in people's mouths every day and stuff like that, But for her it was fascinating, and and that was cool because she was just like, no, this is my favorite part of the job, and was explaining it, and for somebody else, back to the photo editing, this could be such a tedious process that you don't want to have anything to do with this. But for somebody else, it's fascinating, and you wonder why their images are coming out the way that they are, and it's because there's somebody that doesn't mind putting the time in, that doesn't mind going the extra mile, giving that extra effort, that separates them from the others. You know, this is what makes a professional, because if you want to charge top dollar, then you got to be able to give top results. So yeah. So anyways, so let's just go to our original image at this point. So this is what we started with. You can see a ton of change. I mean, look at the skin, look at the color of the backdrop, look at the cans, everything. Like, so this is what we started with. This is what we have so far. And I'm not even done. I'm not even finished with the frequency separation or anything, but it's just like, it's just a nice, clean image. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep on working. I think I've showed y'all enough at this point. Um, 'Cause I don't know where my video's at in length, but I'm sure it's probably long enough for y'all to at least say, okay, cool, that's I got the basics. I'm gonna play around with some of this myself, or I'm gonna go and kind of figure out how to learn, what Camera Raw really does, or I'm gonna play with this spy healing brush tool and stuff like that. Shoot, just play with it, man. Because here's the thing, a lot of people, they'll be like, why are you creating these tutorials telling people how you edit and stuff? And my thing is, there's always been enough money out here for everybody to eat. I ain't hurting, and if I can create an opportunity and show people a way to create better results for them, because I went to school for this for 5 years, and they had to show me, and all my professors had their own businesses too. So imagine if they didn't, they was too cocky or too arrogant and didn't want to show me how to edit, and I'm paying for, this school. Like, I mean, think about that. Everybody's got to learn from somebody. Like, even these other people on YouTube, they're teaching you, like, regardless. Like, they're giving you a lot of their secrets. Now, are they getting paid through, sponsored ads and stuff? Yeah, they might be, but not everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't be that person because, for one, I worked way too hard to get the clientele that I have and stuff like that. And I trust and believe that, that ain't going nowhere. It's not just about the work, it's about creating relationships and building and stuff like that too. So, just because you take good pictures, everybody might not rock with your personality. You know what I mean? Everybody might not like the way that you handle your business. It's a lot of steps and levels to this. So, don't be that person that is so stuck on yourself that you can't help the next person, because eventually there's going to be a time that you need help in some area or another. And if somebody treats you the same way, you're going to feel some type of way, I promise you. But anyways, man, I never mind giving y'all the game. um, Ultimately that's what I want to do long term, is teach more at a university level, but I definitely want to do trainings and stuff as well, uh, you know for as long as I'm able. So hey, if you got any questions, definitely hit me. I'd be more than happy to help you. With whatever you need help with. And like I said, I'm still learning too. I've been doing this for over 10 years, but I'm still learning. Everything changes. So again, this is what we had when we first started, and this is what we're looking like now. Before, after. Even check out the stomach and stuff. I mean, like, she's got a nice stomach anyway, but I'm just talking about just the editing, just how much smoother it is, how much more the color is more complimenting and stuff like that. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? It just blends way better. That's what the frequency separation was for, just to kind of blend the different skin tones, the highlights and the darknesses, and things like that. Same thing with the face. When we first started, when we first started, we had a few blemishes, nothing too crazy, but as you can see, some highlight tones, different stuff, a few little bitty, you know, pimples, stuff like that. I mean, nothing that's that would kill an image, but then we got that. And what I will do is I'll continue to kind of mess around this area so that it kind of becomes a bit more smoother too. And I'll do that on my own time because I know it might take a little bit. So anyways, but yeah, so this is before, after, before, after. Hope y'all enjoyed it, man.